Hey guys, I want to go over with you some of the basic formatting information for APA. And as you know, we've been working on MLA, and oftentimes you will be using that in your literature and English classes. But as soon as you move into your sciences and your social sciences, you're going to be seeing the use of APA. And I want to make sure you have some familiarity with this. Where APA and MLA do have differences, there are some similarities in them as well. So we're going to be taking just a brief look here at APA. We'll be getting into a little bit more detail next week as far as citations and sources to get you ready to do a short paper in this format. So APA is going to regulate the style of your writing, the in-text citation, and the references. APA is really used if you're going to be taking, as I said, your social sciences and your science classes, so business, economics, psychology, sociology, nursing, education. All of these classes are going to be using the APA formatting. And so APA, it provides writers with a way to format cross-referencing for their sources. So everything from their parenthetical in-text citations to their reference page. And this allows readers to immediately locate an article and verify source material. So this is great if researchers are wanting to use articles for their own research and they see that's been used here and want more information, they can automatically link to those articles and get the information. It also, in proper uses, it also adds to the credibility of a writer. And as some of you have been taking a look at bias in the news and media with me, credibility of the author is vitally important. So using APA, you're demonstrating your credibility and you're giving acknowledgement to those sources that you used. And that also helps protect from plagiarism, which, as you guys know, sometimes it's accidental, sometimes it's on purpose. And it means that you're using somebody else's words without giving them proper credit. And APA helps to keep that from happening. Now, there's a couple stylistic things that are different in APA than MLA. In APA, you're going to be using first person pronouns rather than third. So your first person, I, me, my, mine, we, us, our, ours. So in APA, you'd say, we conducted an experiment rather than the authors conducted an experiment. Notice that difference between first and third person pronouns. Also in APA, you need to be using active voice rather than passive voice. So notice here you go right subject to the active verb. We asked participants questions rather than the participants have been asked questions by the researchers. So you notice this prepositional phrase by the researchers at the end. When you see that, that's oftentimes an indication of using the passive voice. We want that active voice, just direct subject, verb. We asked. There we go. We asked participants questions. So you want that active voice. Again here, the tests were inconclusive versus we found the tests inconclusive. So you want that active voice, very active verbs when you're doing this. So in APA, you need to be working on very clear, specific descriptions and explanations, concise, condensed information where you can, using plain, simple adjectives. You do not want to use figurative language in APA. APA, remember, we're looking here more in the sciences, and we want to focus on facts in the sciences, and you're not looking at this figurative fluff language. So we want to avoid figurative language in here as much as possible. Now, when you're setting up APA, this is going to be very different from our MLA, where our header's just on that first page and we get right into it. In APA, we will have a separate title page. You will have an abstract, and after that comes our information for our main paper, and that's going to be usually in this order: the introduction, methods, results, and discussion. Although that will change depending on whether you're looking at quantitative, qualitative, or other methods of research, mixed method study. You might see some changes in that, but the basic format is that. When you're looking at qualitative, you're going to be looking at human experiences that can't be numbered. You're looking at more feelings, people's opinions on issues. This is where you're going to be having more of your interviews, your interactions with your participants are going to be on a very personal level rather than looking at just the statistical information. You want their personal input. You want to understand their opinions and feelings on a topic. And so in here, again, you'll have your abstract, introduction, methods. You'll have findings and results and discussions. And that's going to be slightly different from a quantitative article. And quantitative articles are going to be looking at statistics. This is where you're going to be looking at your numbers. You're going to be getting your alpha information to find out statistical significance of your data. And here you're going to have your abstract, your introduction, your methods, and then your results and your discussion. In qualitative, you really don't have a, result. You have more of a findings. This is what I found rather than this was the results mathematically. Then another type you might see is also a literature review, and this summarizes all the literature on a particular research topic. And when you see this, you'll have an introduction, a thesis statement, and you'll have a summary and a synthesis of all your sources and a list of your references. Now, this is where it's very similar to MLA. Your essay should be typed, double-spaced, 1-inch margins, 10 to 12 point, New Times Roman, and printed on standard paper, which you'll notice is very similar to your APA. Your MLA. Your APA, whereas your MLA, we start with our header and we go directly into the paper. You will have 2 pages before you get to your main body. Your main body of your paper will be numbered page 3. So you'll start out with your title, your abstract, and then the main body of your paper. Where MLA, as I said, has everything on that first page, your title page will include a page number that's going to be up here in the upper right, like MLA does, and then a title in the upper half of the center. You'll see your title, and then your name. You don't want a title or a degree. You're going to have the academic department that it's for, the course, the instructor, and the date. And that some of that same information is going to be seen on your MLA, just in a slightly different format. Then on your abstract, you will have abstract centered in the center again, your page number. If you're a student, you don't need to worry about this running head. That's only on professional papers that are going to be looked at for magazine publication. And then you'll have your abstract anywhere between Al says 150 to 250. Most of my professors say 100 to 250, 250 being the absolute max you want for an abstract. Then you're going to have a list of keywords, and you'll notice these are all going to be italicized. This is so if somebody's looking up information on your paper, they can find it very quickly using these keywords. Next, you're going to have, or at the end, your reference page. And this, again, is going to be very similar to MLA format. Reference is going to be centered at the top, double space them. You're going to be doing that hanging indent where your first line is lined up with the side of the paper, and then it's a tab indent for the rest. And the order is all going to be done alphabetically by the surname, the last name of the first author of each work. You'll notice that is identical to what you did for MLA. This is where it gets a little bit different, is some of the in-text citations. So when you're in in-text citations or you're using authors' names, APA is very gender neutral. They don't want to have any gender bias in revealing first names, which automatically can be associated female or male. And so when you see authors, it's going to be the last name, comma, first initial, middle initial if they have it. You will never see first names in APA. You will only ever see initials and last names. So be very noteful of that as you're working. When you're doing APA, you'll capitalize all major words in journal titles, italicize titles of longer works, such as books. So basically a lot of the same formatting that you had seen earlier. So now, in-text citations, one of the main differences between APA and MLA, whereas MLA you were putting page numbers each time. The only time you need to put page numbers in APA is when you are directly citing in a quote or want to specifically note where this information was found. Other than that, it's last name, comma, date of the article. You do not need to put the page number. Also, when quoting, you've got last name, comma, page number, or year of the article, comma, P for page, or and then the page number. So that's only if you are directly quoting information. So it makes it just a little bit different, a little bit easier in that. We'll get into more details on MLA, or I'm sorry, APA next week as we continue working on it.